Welcome everyone to our 11th episode of Emerge Detour Essentials Live. I cannot believe that we're almost at the close of Detour Essentials Season 3 already. It's been such an exciting journey. We've had so many amazing guests, and we have 2 more shows left for the rest of this season. So we're super excited about the last 2 shows, but we are especially excited about tonight's show because this is a woman who we all have wanted to sit with for months. So I am Kathy Goodall. I am a connector of brands, businesses, and people. I am the co-founder of Redefined Business Services Limited, and I am a happy member of the Emerge Trio.
Hi everyone, my name is Naomi Garrick. I'm also known as the PR chick, and I am a PR and brand strategist and a personal branding coach. And I essentially help individuals and brands to stand out in a noisy on and offline world. I'm also a proud member of the Emerge Trio.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I wear the sash, adrenaline rush. My name is Raquel Cameron. I hail from a verdant little district in the parish of St. Mary called Lucky Hill. I'm also CEO of Prescient Consulting Services Limited, where I offer impactful legal, human resources, and communication strategy. Enjoy!
Rochelle, you're getting better and better every week.
Her project introduction, absolutely.
And her introduction.
Lauren from Toronto. Lauren, you have any of the little dog them up there in Toronto?
I was about to say, if she and the dogs took the flight together. So for those of you that are joining us for the first time, welcome. You can catch us here every single Wednesday at 8 o'clock on our Facebook and our YouTube channels. For those of you that are our regulars, we want to say welcome. We're so happy to have you. Laurie, thank you for tuning in, even though you're in foreign.
There came on.
Yes, at least it's time to come home. Don't forget to follow us on all our platforms at Ready to Emerge. Don't forget to share.
Guys.
Hey.
Lansdale, where have you been? We have missed you so much. Hi,
Janice. It's big show tonight, you know. This show needs crowd.
Hi, Heidi. Yes, Laurie, we know you're in the cold. Nobody sent you there.
Guys, we are so excited to be here. As usual, we love to know where you are joining us from because we have emerged us from all over the globe. So even if you're joining us from right here in Kingston, Jamaica, let us know where you are. And if this is the first time that you're actually tuning in for an Emerge Detour Essentials Live, I mean, we always have some amazing guests, but we have a super amazing guest tonight. So I won't be surprised if we see some new emergers coming online tonight to see our amazing guest that's waiting backstage. Hi, Janice in Montego Bay.
Hi,
Vanessa.
Now your internet looks a little pixelated.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And everything looks crystal clear from my end.
Unless it's me. Am I me?
I don't know. Kat, do I look pixelated on yours too?
You keep freezing a little bit. It's a little.
All right. I am gonna stop my cam for a second and I'll come back.
Okay. Lansdale says he's been really busy. Hi, Lansdale, and he was here last week. Lansdale, we missed you. Tabisha, good night. Nice to see you. Alicia, did you get your vaccination in Cayman? I hear that Cayman you can start go restaurant and everything now because look like say COVID I keep much a Cayman.
It's because they've been on lockdown.
Yes. But what a week though. What a week that we. But the thing this week though, one thing with Jamaicans, no matter what's going on with us, we just need a little thing, just a little thing to hold on to that we can create things on. And them dogs,
Listen, I want to know if Laurie followed the dogs or the dogs followed Laurie.
Because the dogs, so those of you that don't know what happened, we had, as Jamaicans would say, a side of little doggies of the Jamaican Terrier variety that were Yes.
premium mixed breed.
Their Canadian visas and migrated to the cold in Canada. So you know how Jamaicans always say, like sometimes they look on dog and they say, "What a dog favor dog." So these dogs that sometimes people, would call mongrels. What an ugly name, mongrels. Them they are Canada now. You know how hard the Canadian visa is to fill out? And then they are Canada.
Premium mixed breed.
They're what are they called? Brown terriers?
Yes. Royal Terriers.
Royal terrier. Listen, living their best lives.
Living their best life. One of them not dashy way.
And something else that was exciting about this week was that because of Jamaica's cultural embracement of Clark's has now created a line that honors Jamaica and our culture.
Yeah.
So there are three Clarks that have been created in honor of Jamaica.
Yeah. One time, like sometimes, I'll try different trends just to see if it would fit me.
Please let me see in Clark's.
No, I don't look good in it. My foot looked tough.
I don't think you would look good in it, Rochelle. But sneakers, Clarks, that style boots is just not your thing.
No, it's not.
But Rochelle, maybe she bedazzled them like she bedazzled her shoes that she wore to her summit.
But if they want to name one,
Boogers.
I would happily wear it. But ladies and gentlemen, we're just waiting on everybody else to log on. So let me tell you, this show tonight a big show. It's our big show. This show need crowd. Because the Emerge Trio, we have an opportunity with our Emergers tonight to sit with one of the most phenomenal Jamaican women. I am president of her fan club. This is a woman that when she steps into a room with her svelte, statuesque self, with her head held high and a confidence, but yet this gentle humility about her. If you have no idea who she is, you have to ask the question, who that? Who that? And who is that? That is the one and only Chorvelle Johnson Cunningham. She is the CEO, that would be the Chief Executive Officer of Sagicor Bank Limited. She has over a decade of experience in the financial sector and is this renowned leader in our Jamaican economic system, in our ecosystem. This woman is one who did not start out in finance. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. If you're watching it on a little screen tonight, please just put it on a big screen, because Chorvelle began her career in the classroom at the Kingston Technical High School, where she taught business to upper school students. So she actually started as a teacher. And when you hear her tonight, you will still hear that educator, because wherever she is, whatever platform, she is pouring and pouring and pouring into us. Chorvelle is the immediate past president of the Women's Leadership Initiative, an organization with programs geared towards empowering women and girls in Jamaica. She currently serves as chair of the WLI Membership Committee and is the chairperson of United Way of Jamaica. She was recently re-elected as the vice president of the Jamaica Bankers Association. So remember I said she's teacher, she's CEO, she's banker. She's also a proponent of healthy living, because with all of those things, you can say she couldn't take on nothing else. She's a proponent of healthy living. She's a vegan. And in 2012, she published the book Simply Vegan, The Jamaican Way. Because sometimes when we see the vegan thing, then we don't have them here. The Jamaican Way.
Jamaican Way.
Where she explores the many aspects of this lifestyle with readers. She enjoys swimming, walking, playing and watching tennis, listening to music, and experimenting with her vegan lifestyle by cooking and experimenting with new vegan meals. And with all of that, the topping on the cake is that she is married to Vaughn, and they're the parents of 3 amazing children. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, please get on your feet so that she can hear you virtually applaud her. Welcome, Chorvelle Johnson Cunningham.
But I think the show is over. I don't know. You know, I'm like, who are you speaking about here? Me?
But you know what? Me? We can hear you loud and clear. And Rochelle doesn't even have to say anything because look, everybody is going crazy. She's amazing and yet so humble. I truly admire her. Shelly said, so proud of you. Esther says she's so excited to hear from you.
The Chorvelle
I don't know if you used to watch Sesame Street when they said, "This is your life." I've seen some names that flashing across the screen, and I'm like, "Oops! It looks like this is your life." So I have a kerchief. I have a kerchief. Just in case. Ladies, thank you for having me.
We are so super excited to have you on this show. You have always come up in our conversations when we talk about who do we want to have on our Emerge stage when we get back to having live events, or even when we have our first big live or virtual Ready to Emerge conference summit. And Chorvelle, your name is always at the top of the list. I had the pleasure of just hearing you speak once, and I think it was at an event that the Jamaica Observer did leading up to the Food Awards. And that's the first time I heard you speak about just some of your journey. And I was just really like, wow, I didn't know all of this stuff about Chorvelle. And so, you know, as we all heard in Rochelle's intro, Chorvelle's journey started off in education, but here she is today as the CEO of Sagicor. That's a huge deal, right? You're a mom, you're a vegan, you're an author, you're all these things, and I'm sure so much more. But what we'd love you to do is just walk us through the journey. Just start from the beginning. Where did it all start to where we are today? That's what we want to hear.
Well, should I say it began in some year, maybe about 18 years ago, when Sylvia and Betty Johnson birthed Chorvelle Johnson in December. Notice it's 18 years ago.
You and Rochelle went to school together.
I think so. I think you and Rochelle born same time.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, I always start, and you know, the other day my dad said to me, one of the things he loves about me is that I always big him up. I didn't know I was doing it. So since you know, I'll just start by saying everything in my life is for my parents, my siblings, now my children, right? They're why I'm here. And you know, it's so interesting. If you listen to my days in high school, and I want to big up all my Knox College friends. It wasn't Kingston, it was Knox College. That's why the skin looked so good and the hair looked so good. Cool climes of Manchester. That's where I am from, right? So it started in those years, and you know, you as usual, as parents, you want your children to come out much better than you were. I had a fight every single reporting time with my father. All that was in the report, she chats too much. She does no work. As for maths, I'm in finance, right? As for maths, F. CXC, I'm dating myself here. Nothing going on there. So, you know, it was just a big deal for my parents because they say education is key. Yeah. So anyway, I have a sister who is a year older than me and pretty bright sister. Everybody always talk about the bright sister. You know, you're not like your sister. I'm like, hello, I'm me, she. Anyway, the whole thing hit me in my head when years later, I ended up at the University of Technology to do business subjects, right? To be trained as a teacher to the business subjects. But my father insisted I still had to do maths, right? I had to get maths. So my big sister got me to go to extra classes in Kingston to do the maths. When I started maths at UTech, ungraded. Ungraded.
Are you?
Ungraded, a U. So I used to have to go to my big sister every Saturday to sit by her bed, and she had a ruler. What is so and so and so? This is after going to extras, conk in the head. And then one day she said, Chorvelle, if you don't pass maths and you have to carry it through to 3rd year at UTech, it's gonna be hard. So you better know what you're doing. That's all it took. I got distinctions after that, but because I had the U, I could only end up 1st year with a credit because I started off with U. So I think at that point in my life, I knew that anything that I put my head to, I can do. And in all fairness to my parents, it's how they brought us up. I'm the second of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 children, I think so. Brain freezing this evening, right? I'm the second of 1, 2, 3, 5 kids. And they always say, just treat people how you want to be treated, and always do unto others as you'd have others do unto you. But how Daddy used to do it, he never come and say that to you. Dad used to preach, and then every sermon the man start. Did I say the man? Every sermon Daddy start. It was, no man is an island, no man stands alone. And you're like, what the hell is wrong with this man? Do unto others as you'd have others do unto you. And you're like, so my siblings, we always think he's preaching about us. But fast forward now, that is how I live my life. Because no man is an island is about teamwork. Do unto others is simple. Anything you don't like for yourself, don't do it to other people.
Yeah.
And basically that's how I try and live my life. Of course, showing love. So go through University of Technology, and I remember my teacher, her name was Miss Brown, graduate. I didn't go to graduation. I just said, I don't think my parents should spend money on that. They were not amused that I took the decision after they sent me, right? So that was a big deal. But anyway, a teacher called and she said, I spoke to Miss Comrie, go down to her. She has a job for you. And I'm like, okay. So I, for the whole summer, me gallivanting, didn't go down to Miss Comrie. When I just called the school to check. When the school opened, so I went to school when the kids went in. Of course, the days before you'd have had the teachers doing stuff. So Miss Comrie said, what? Didn't you know you're supposed? No, I didn't. I was just told to turn up. But suffice to say, there are people who I taught at Kingston Tech who I end up seeing them in the industry. Saw them ready to call me missing. We have to beg them to don't do that, because that is clearly aging me. But that was within itself an experience, because at the time, maybe I was like 3 years older than some of these kids.
Yes.
And, they gave me the worst class, the most troublesome class at the time. The teachers said, well, Miss Sarfield, there's X, Y, and Z in the class. And those ladies sit at the back and they're going to make your life hell. So I just know that anybody who's going to make my life hell, they have to be my friend. So I just set my ground rule, and by the end of the year, they're doing pretty well. There was a guy in the class, I remember all he did was this in my class. Miss, me love you off, Miss, me love you. And the man wouldn't do any work. So even when I have exams, the man had to call the vice principal and say, you invigilate my exams, so you try and see if you will reach somewhere in life apart from Miss, me love you off. So you go through those things. And I remember one day standing at the bus stop when I was teaching at Kingston Tech, and I'm a movie goer, so I was going to Carib. So in my short skirt, and I hear, Miss, are you that? I was a student, and by the next day the whole school was on wildfire. Thank God they didn't have phones, social media, and all of those things. It was just word of mouth that I was in this short skirt going to the movies. So, fast forward from there, over the summer now, I decided to, try get a summer job. And I got a summer job at Allied Insurance Brokers. So what my resume doesn't show is that I used to be in the general insurance industry. I have a touch of life insurance training that I did. So my resume don't show those things in there. But I can sort of, balance or pedal a little in those because I was in there for a while. Yeah. So I worked with the Allied over the summer, and I worked so good that they offered me a job without having a position to place me. So I left teaching. But to suffice to say, I loved teaching. What you get from the heart, no job can pay you for that. When you see the kids grow up and they accomplish stuff, or they still call, Miss, I'm thinking of doing this. What you think about that? Miss, I see you doing this. How you doing? You know, those little things, they're priceless, right? So anyway, went to Allied, did well over the summer. They took me on. They finally found a position for me in Montego Bay, and I took that job, was there. Didn't have any relatives or friends or anybody in Mobay. I went down there, and at the time, you'd hear people, you know, they would ask you, where are you from? Are you from Kingston? No, because you studied Mobay, right? No, I'm from Manchester. Oh, you're lucky, because if it was Kingston, we not deal with you. That was it at the time. So, you know, I was with Allied Insurance Brokers, which was a subsidiary of Grace Kennedy, for that period, for about 5 years. I think most of the times I'm with companies, it's around 5-6 years before I get an itch. So, note, I didn't apply for a job at Kingston Tech. I didn't apply for the summer job at Allied. I got it. I got a permanent job at Allied. They found somewhere to place me. 5 years later, I got a call from, oh God, I'm going to age myself now, from Workers Bank. And they said they heard about me, and they have a position that they think I would fill. I'm like, okay. And that job was called a personal financial planner. So I went to Workers Bank Mobay as a personal financial planner. But I didn't just go there to be a personal financial planner. I went there to learn everything. So Chorvelle learned how to balance teller, right? How to check to make sure, say, all the forex, the teller count off for the days, everything that the bank's supposed to have, and them never run out the road and change the money and come back and put it in the tilly. So all of those things I know. I learned loans. I learned every aspect of what was happening in the branch, because as young people, that is one of the things that you should do. You should never just go in and be complacent in your role. And this was a new role for me. But no matter what, I would make myself available in the afternoon to balance tellers, because I was also learning new things, and learning the operations of the branch, and also being a part of a team, because it can't be that you run out the door at 4 o'clock and people balancing up to 6. If you can help, people will love you. Yeah. So that was my stint at Workers Bank. Then the itch happened again. I got another call. This time it was for corporate merchant bank in Kingston, where they had a position available, and I interviewed for it and I got it, right? But just to say that the trend is work hard and you'll get the call. Yes. Right? Because I'm yet to send out a resume for a job and get the job. So maybe something wrong with how my resume look, but I've never received the job. Right? Anyway, moved from corporate merchant bank. Again, and you know what? The big thing is God not leaving you in anywhere when you're unhappy, but you have to listen and hear when he's speaking to you. And I'm going to tell you about that, but just suffice to say again, moved from corporate merchant bank, got a job at Billy Craig Finance and Merchant Bank. When I got the job there, they said to me, like within a week of being there, the person who is running the treasury had to go. So if I can run the treasury plus the job I got to do, I'm not going to say no. And that is the thing. I've heard the question, if you have to be 100% ready for a job. My answer is no. You will be some percent. For some jobs, it will be 70, 80, some might be 95. But you won't be 100% ready for the job. Now, I was asked if I can run the treasury and do the other job they hired me to do. Of course, I said yes. What the heck? I'm going to say yes and figure out what to do. So, not even a month at Billy Craig Finance and Merchant Bank, Daring, Bunting and Golding bought them over. Right? Not even a month. And then, say we heard about the Friday, the same Friday I got a call, oh, you're expected to be at their head office Monday morning. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know nobody over there. Just started to, get to know people at Billy Craig because I was a newbie. And then now I'm going into an environment where people don't know if I'm there for their jobs. So that was an interesting ride. you know. And that is where I met one of my mentors, Gary Sinclair and Peter Bunting. And believe you me, they test me to the metal, right? But you have to be strong and believe in what you do and continue to perform. And that's all I've done. I remember the first time Gary came and he's like, didn't you know you're supposed to do this? And I'm like, no, but I'll get it done. And then I remember going into his office and said, sir, you shouted at me and I don't like that. And my dad don't shout at me. And you know, Gary, Rochelle, Gary said, that's just how I sound. That's just how I sound. So when he said that, I think he did it 2 more times and I went back. And what he didn't know was I was as nervous as hell when I was doing that. You know what happened? They ended up promoting me and asking me, because I was from Manchester, if I wanted to go and run the branch in Mandeville. But I think I showed them that I was assertive. I'm not scared of anybody and I will get the job done.
Yes.
Right? And, you know, I continued that journey. And I remember being promoted in DB&G and somebody, you know, a lady came and she said, tell me something, how does it feel to break the glass ceiling? And I called my big sister and I said, what the hell is she talking about? What glass ceiling? I said, what glass ceiling? Because our parents never grow us up to see no ceiling.
Yeah.
We just didn't grow up to see a ceiling.
Yeah.
We were grown up to say, this is what you want, go for it. And I can tell you, every year, there are 2 times that I do deep, extremely deep meditation. One is my birthday in December, and then followed by January. And at that point, I will have in my head the things I want to accomplish, right? And once you have it set in your head somewhere, it automatically happens, you know, because while you're sleeping, your brain working towards it.
Yes.
Everything, it's just on the path and going towards it.
Yeah.
You know, so that has always happened. So, you know, my days at DB&G was about promotions, surpassing targets all the time. They say I was a special girl, nobody could talk to me, but I was just doing my work. Right? Yeah. And then fast forward, Scotia took over, wasn't that happy, you know, cry a little about it because it just wasn't the same as when, you know, we're at DB&G. But those were all lessons, you know, because later in life, when I had to do acquisitions as CEO or so, you know what to do, what you never like, and how you're going to do things differently. So all of this journey, ladies, is preparing you for something else.
Yes.
So I clearly remember when, you know, I was sort of unhappy, you know, after those guys gone from DB&G, and I was the most senior one there, and all the staff looking to me for everything. And it was, you know, I'm like, And I remember saying to my husband, boy, I don't know about this. And he said, see, well, he wasn't my husband then, but he was my husband. And he said, see, whatever you want to do, just remember, I'll back you. Yeah. So if you need to step. If you don't need to step, you know. Eventually, I ended up at First Global. Courtney Campbell, who went to Knox with me, again, told me about a job, and I ended up at First Global. So this is the interesting part now. Was at First Global. I don't know. It appears I always get a 5-year or 6-year each. But anyway, I was there, and I remember one Sunday I was by my husband's mom's house, and he and his friends were talking. A group of them were there talking. I wasn't really paying them any mind, but I was paying them some mind. And I remember they talking about whether it is a still calm voice of calm, whether they believe in God, whatever it is. And I heard my mouth open because I know I didn't say this. My mouth said, but if you're in a negative space, you're not going to hear God. You're not going to have a still small voice of calm. You're not going to get none of that. So you're kind of dark, essentially. And I'm like, oh. So when we're going home, I said to my husband, this is what is going to happen. I am going to look in the papers. It was Sunday. I'm going to find 6 jobs that I can do. And I'm going to send off those resumes on Monday. I'm not going to get a response from any of those resumes that I sent off. But before the end of the week, I'm going to get a call. Now, I had said to him before that this has happened to me before, right? And all the time. And he said, okay. So I did that. And, I wasn't paying it any mind. You just do it and leave it, right? The Thursday, I saw a missed call from this young lady who used to be at DB&G with me. She was always head of HR. But she always called me because my sister at the time. Mm-hmm. And I saw like 4 missed calls from her. And I'm like, why is she calling off my phone? Anyway, I finally got around to calling her because I saw it from a good while. But, hey, when I called her, and I said, hey, why are you calling off my phone? Miss Johnson, this is a very formal request. You're being asked to interview for the CEO of Proven Wealth. I'm like, what? So that was the call. That was the call. My husband just said, oh, the job is yours because based on what you said. So I had to interview for the job. They asked me the formal questions and whatever. And then the rest was history. Just like that, I became the CEO of Proven Wealth.
Wow.
Just like that, So that was a journey. And, I remember Chris Williams saying to me when I started, Chris said to me, Chorvelle, know who your best friend is. And your best friend is called your husband because he's the person who is going to see all the pain and the headaches that you go through. He's your best friend. And I'm saying to everybody on this chat this afternoon, you have to have what I call your private and your family directors who support you. Yeah. Right? They are your directors. But they all mean you good. They're not being hypocritical. And they all are going to ensure that whether you need to be told the hard truth or not, they're going to tell you. Whether you're just going to have a headache over a decision you have to make, they're going to console you. Mm-hmm. And that circle is a real circle, So I have my family in that circle, my immediate family, my husband, my brother, my sisters, my mom and dad, some of my cousins, in that circle. But on the outskirts of those circles as well are even just the housekeeper you have at your house. Even just the office attendant, like my Ali Redhead at Sagicor, or Snow, who is the security guard downstairs, or Jody and Clark, who make sure that everything is okay. Yeah. That circle of people, when you're in certain positions, you must have them. And this is where the whole thing of do unto others as you'd have others do unto you, that is where that is solid, right? Because people will not stay around you if you don't treat them well. Exactly. Right? So, so that has been that was the journey to Proven. And then at Proven now, I remember, and there's this young lady called Michelle Tracy. She was the head of marketing at the time at Proven. And they were doing some cancer sticker thing at the side of the face. I was supposed to start the job the Monday morning. I get a call from Michelle the Friday that there is an interview and a function the Sunday that Chris says I need to do. I'm like, what the hell? I start the Monday morning. Anyway, turn up at Pegasus to the thing, and Michelle just briefs me. Okay, so this is what it is about. This is what you're going to talk about. Da, 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 da. And by the time she said that, in 5 minutes, Mike was in my mouth. I'm like, oh my God. So that taught you that you have to be able to think on your feet and listen carefully and do all of that. And it was pure those things. And between Michelle and Chris, it was a push to do that. And I will tell you, I hear people talk about brand Chorvelle. That is where that push came from when I was at Proven. Because, I said to Chris, I remember saying to Chris one day, thanks for branding me. And he said, no, all I did was kick you in the butt and the rest came up because you had it already. Because you're just you. You're just simply Chorvelle who do what you have to do. So that was Proven, and Proven was family. So it was a little weird for me to get a call again, 5 to 6 year itch, get a call again that, out of the blue, a call from far, this man I don't know, saying he thinks I'll be great for the Sagicor Bank CEO. I'm like, but what do you know about me? He said almost everybody he spoke to, whether it was in Jamaica or somewhere else, called my name.
Wow.
And when you think on those things, you're like, wow, right? But at the end of the day, I don't believe I could have reached where I was, yes, without the private circle, but there are always team members that you work with, right? So there is no Chorvelle without a team, because it's the teamwork and all the people. So big up all my Sagicor peeps. It's how we work together as a team, because there's no way that I could have accomplished even a smidgen of all of that if I didn't have a group of people that were working together.
Exactly.
Right. So that for me was a big deal, a really big deal. And going to Sagicor, leaving 70-something persons reporting up to me to go to Sagicor Bank to have 650. Ooh, that's a giant step. So
That's a leap.
So I too pinch myself sometimes and say, boy, how? Because this was a girl who never liked maths. This was a girl who used to fight with daddy. This is a girl who come from country. Nobody knows who she is, but she's doing her little thing in her own little way. But I can't do that without God who strengthens me, and without my family support, my husband, the rest of my family, and the team. It's about team. No man is an island and no man stands alone. So there's nothing that Chorvelle could have done in her career that it didn't take a team approach to do that, right? And that is so if anybody wants to succeed, that is the first rule of thumb. You can't do it alone. Just like how they said, Rochelle, one hand can't clap.
Mm-hmm.
One hand can't clap. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, you talked earlier about being raised to not see a ceiling, any ceiling at all. But it's so interesting to me that you are raised to not see a ceiling, but you are such a proponent for women empowerment. I mean, between all of the executive boards that you're on, with WLI, with United Way, with all other organizations that you've been a part of that are focused on empowering women. Why is that so important to you?
You know what? Initially, growing up, it was men used to do everything, right? I was fortunate to grow up in a home where both mommy and daddy shared responsibility. The only thing my dad couldn't do was comb my hair, right? And I'm now married to a man who can do everything as well, right? So that is important. So I'll say to you, yes, it's always important to empower women. But what I'll confess to you is that there was a time when I remember, I think I was at DB&G Mandeville, and it was all women in the branch. And I said to HR, no. I need the balance of a male or some males in the office. So don't send me any resume for women, only because we have enough women.
Yes.
So my thing is that, yes, I will always encourage women, always be the hand pushing down the ladder, pulling up the rope, whatever it is, sending out the lasso if we're on horseback like some people. Naomi, if we're on horseback.
Go on your business there, Road.
I love it.
So whatever it is, and I will always make the time to have those conversations. But I strongly believe that beside every strong woman or beside every strong man is the other opposite sex. So beside me is my husband. Beside him is his wife, right? So we all need each other to support each other. Yeah. So I would not, yes, in WLI we have persons that we mentor and those will be women, but we also are having conversation with boys at the younger age, because we recognize that we women need husbands as well. And if you're not guiding the younger boys, then what is going to happen? We can't just guide the girls alone, So you have to at some point have that balance. And I have no problem in mentoring both, you know, or having that sit down and chat, you know. It's not everything, and I've said this in my career to a lot of women, it's not everything that the men do we can do. Because I remember, and I want to big up Cosman Jackson and Hugo Penley when we were at DB&G. They were the branch managers, the male branch managers, and I was the only female one. And then you'd hear Cos say something like, boy, we got bar last night, we're getting $50 million. I ain't going to no bar. Right? So, but I have to find another thing that is Chorvelle's need.
Yes.
So the thing is, you can't do whatever, but find your own. Find your own way of doing things. Once you know what your guidelines are, once you know what your objectives are, find your way. And it's important to have persons around you who are not negative. Right? I'm not into the chitty, chatter. If you're going to be a woman around me, don't bother with that. I don't want to hear what color pearl earring somebody had, you know, if it was a pearl or what. I'm not interested in that. If it's not educational or uplifting, don't bother with it. And I think that's a big deal, that we have to learn to run people when they be negative. Because it's not only, it don't only affect the brain, it affects your health, you know. You ever have some people and, oh God, man, the world is always falling. The world is always falling, and nothing is wrong to say to them at some point, I can't deal with that now. I will call you back, because your frame of mind have to be there. So yes, Kathy, I will always be there to help women up. But I also believe that we need to help the brothers up as well. Because we're moving forward, and we need the husbands for our daughters.
Yes.
Right? And we need the two minds to be thinking for the growth of our country. So it can't be one over the other. And I hope nobody's throwing a frying pan at my head at this point, because this is the one time that I'll say, when you're working, when you're in any work environment, it's always good to have a mix. You know, it might lead, most likely it will lean to more women than men, but you must have a mix, because we don't operate the same way and we don't see things through the same lens.
Absolutely. I mean, you're 100% right. And we say it all the time. You know, we need to raise our men, because what's going to happen, the future without men is going to be a great imbalance. So we agree with you 100%. So you talked about that, having that balance, and we know that you're a mom. What do you see for the future of our country? How do you envision the ideal Jamaica to be in terms of creating that balance?
Oh, good question. So, you know, it's interesting to see the younger generation and listen to how they talk. Because when I was growing up, children should be heard and not seen. Should be seen and not heard. Seen and not heard.
I grew up in that space as well.
And you know, when you wait till they're acknowledged to, you know, come into a conversation. But when you look at these generations, I remember saying to my bonus daughter today, and we were having a conversation, I was saying, boy, I don't think I could be in the classroom with you guys, because they challenge you on everything. Right?
Yes.
But that's what we want. Yes. That's what we want. And then I'm listening to my 3-year-old Cairo, and the things coming out her mouth. You're like, what? Where'd she get that from? So I see a bright future for Jamaica because of how we are growing up these children.
Yes.
However, with everything that has happened with COVID-19 last year, I am concerned, because I believe there will be a gap. There are kids who did not go to school. There are kids who are in school. There were kids who did not like going to school on tablets, and you have the mixture. So I'm worried about that generation. And I'm worried that if we don't put things in place quick enough for them, we're going to lose them. Right? So the key is to ensure that we get the tablets in schools for them. The key is to ensure that if we can have a homework center or something that they can benefit, we do that. Because if we don't do that, that generation is going to be in trouble. Those that are in high school and pushing through at this stage, which will be the future in the next 10 years, they should be fine. They're outspoken, they're very smart, they know what they want, they don't want to work for anybody, they want to be their own CEOs, they come up with ideas, they don't want to go to university because that's a waste of time and just your dream and not their dream.
Yeah.
Because they want to go on the film instead, and they want to find all these other things to do. But so that generation for the next 10 years will be fine. I'm more concerned for 20 years, and we have to look way down the road.
Yes.
How are we going to fix that? So COVID isn't over, and I strongly believe COVID happened for a reason, because there were a lot of positives coming from it,
Yes.
right? But there are also gaps that we have to fix.
Yeah. Wow.
Absolutely.
You know, Chorvelle, these ladies know that I was really looking forward to tonight. And I was so tired this afternoon that I went to take a nap. So when I was in the nap, it's one of them naps where you dream too. So my dreams and sleep through emerge.
Oh no.
Silent.
Oh no.
Jump up, you know. Because I was really looking forward to today. And I think the lessons that you bring are universal lessons. They're lessons for women, they're lessons for men, they're just lessons for us as people. And I want to switch gears a little bit. I heard you talk about your bonus daughter, your husband, and Cairo. And, you know, I think too, as career women and the younger women on the show, women who are still just trying to keep this last week we talked about balance, whatever this thing called balance is, you know, in your various roles when you come home, because in the day, Chorvelle Johnson, the CEO of Sagicor Bank Limited, but when you reach home my yard, what is that like?
Not Chorvelle Johnson, the CEO. But you know, first let me say, I've always said that I don't strive for balance. I think it will make me get sick to strive for balance, because there will be days when it will be about my job,
Yeah.
and there will be days when it will be about my husband, about the kids, about my parents, about a friend who is going through something else. So you have to find a way to put all of that together.
Yeah.
And it is hard. It is hard. It is hard if I come home and, you know, Cairo would come and say, Mommy, on the laptop, I mean, she was just 3 the other day, and she's chatting on the laptop, Mommy, and she's ready to throw the laptop away. That means that she needs my attention.
Yes.
So, and plus I have a husband. So I have to read the signs, right? If we're both working from home, if I just get up and say, okay, let me just make lunch and carry around there, that is creating fire. So you have to find little things to stoke a fire, find things that, you know, my boss, Chris Zucker, you know, do things, talk to him more, talk to my husband. So in other words, you have to have support to do all of this.
Yes.
Because I'm sure when I just joined, you heard Kara screaming, I want my mommy, I want my mommy. That to take her out of here. I'm outside, hiding, literally hiding, you know, and she left kicking and screaming, but I want my mommy, right? So sometimes it's hard, and I'll tell you this, sometimes it is rough, but you always have to take that deep breath. You have to make sure you're exercising. You have to make sure you have the support. And I can't belittle the support you have. The support I have from my husband is important. The support at, you know, if my husband has meetings and I have meetings and the housekeeper can't stay, you have to have somebody else who you can rely on to fill that gap. You know, sometimes Cairo will help me. How about going to Auntie Van's? that's hurt my sister, or let's go and look at Auntie Christine's house. So that is my way to just can't leave her, run away.
Yeah.
so you get the me time, because me time is very important. Me time for Chorvelle is important. To go get my hair done, my nails done, just sit and do nothing. Sometimes it will be hard, and I think the more responsibility you have is what your approach is. When you have the younger kids like we do, Rush, at this stage, they might not sleep throughout the night. They might be like Kara and tell me her bedtime is 10 o'clock. It's not 9, it's not 8, it's 10. But she gets her milk at 7. I'm like, I need her to go to bed early so that I can continue doing some work or go to bed and wake up and do some other thing. So sometimes you just fall asleep. So you just have to find a way to come back and put back and catch up, because that is important. So you have to learn to carve that out, and that is where your support comes into place. And worse, if you decide to study in the mix of all of everything you're doing, because we have women who are studying, who have families, their children going to school, the children at home madding them, so they can't focus. So as CEOs and as women leaders, we have to also be able to know, okay, if you're going through this, Chorvelle, somebody else going through that, talk to them. What is it that they're doing? How they're managing? Give them some snippets. You can't solve everybody's problem, but you might give them some guidelines as to what they need to do, right? Never ever feel like you can solve everybody's problem. And sometimes we chatting and not even hearing the problem. Like similar when you say, like you go somewhere and you say, good morning, how are you? And the person says, fine, how are you? And I said, boy, I'm just terrible day. Can't start. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. And I said, great. And
Yep. Not listening.
They're not listening. So as top leaders, we have to listen. We have to have the support. Support is very, 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 very important. So whether it's the grandparents, whether it's the housekeepers and the nannies, whether it's just the person who carry your tea, whether it's just the person who tell you, said, I pray for you every day. And I tell people all the time, my mother and father pray so hard every day. You know, I can't even describe that, right? So you need those people in your circle, but more importantly, they have to be positive. So that when you're going through this, because you're going to have pop-down days.
Yes.
But nothing is wrong with a pop-down day.
Yes.
Are you going to make mistakes? Nothing is wrong with making mistakes. What is important is what you learn from your mistakes and what you learn from why you pop down.
Yeah.
So if you don't learn anything from any of those, then you have a mistake and a pop down moment and more are to come. And then you're going to have health issues and all of those other things that go with it. So, you know, just learn from it, just right away. We all are human. We all make mistakes, right? Hopefully it won't be catastrophic.
Yeah.
But even if it is, go in a corner, take the ball, figure out how to solve it, and move on.
Yes.
Move on and have the right people in your circle.
Yes.
And Chorvelle, as a female leader, you know, we're celebrating Women's Month now. And, you know, there are lots of things that you mentioned, even that nurturing side of you, the listening, but yet you are a strong leader. You understand the business of what you do. You are willing to put in the work. Do you find that in your role as a leader, so you are a woman, you're a black woman, from country, as you said, nobody never know you. And for those persons who are listening and saying, I can't reach where Chorvelle reach, look on my head, come from country, what would you be telling them? You told them this journey, but what's that word you would give to them to say, sister?
You know, I love to say this thing about positive vibes, positive action, positive results. If you have that positive fire burning within you, there's nothing nothing that you can't accomplish, because everything is a stepping stone. Nothing is a boulder that is going to throw you down a hill. It's just going to be a stepping stone. Carpets weren't open. You open your own carpets. You roll them out. You roll them out for yourself. You know, you want to accomplish this. How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? What is it that you need to do? What you need to learn?
Yes.
There's this thing I have that I say, for every meeting or so that you have. So for example, this talk today, I should be able to have an out-of-body experience, because I should be able to assess myself as to how I did. So if you can't assess yourself first and be honest with you and give yourself a score, and you're relying on other people, that's a problem. So you have to be able to have that out-of-body experience. So you can see yourself in the boardroom where you're stuttering with this. When I ask you that question, why you're stuttering? Is it something you need to go and learn? Is it something you should have prepared for? You're having a conversation with your husband and you never think it through. Why did it cause a fuss? Have that out-of-body experience. Was it something that you said?
Yeah.
Was it something he said? But you should be able to have that out-of-body experience where you literally look down on yourself and hear the conversation, replay it live, and be able to assess and make the changes accordingly, right?
Yeah.
But separate and apart from that, you must have people in your corner who, if I'm in the boardroom, there must be people on my board who I can go and say, if I'm not performing in the manner that I'm supposed to, kick me under the table, draw me one side, give me guidance, I'll be open for the criticism. So you must always make sure that you have those people. But they have to be the right people, because some people don't want you to succeed.
Yeah.
Some of us are just tear down artists, and we don't want to see women, men, we don't want to see anybody but ourselves succeed, right? So make sure you have those people. And again, that's why I said, those people who just chatting people and all of that are the wrong persons for the circle. You want people for the long haul who are going to be there, who know and watch you and be, give you the best advice and be honest. It's not all the time I really want it. I know there are times my husband says stuff and I'm like, he's not saying that. But you think about it. I might make up my face, no. But then you go around the corner and you think, I'm right. And you go back. So you need those people who will be honest with you. And that is the thing. Cold honest, but you also need to be honest with yourself, which is where the out-of-body experience comes in.
Yeah. And Chorvelle, you talk a lot about support. So let me ask you this. Because we know some people or someone will emerge as I said to themselves, like, who want to be Chorvelle's friend? What are you, what in your circle, in your tribe of friends, what are you like? What role do you play in that tribe of friends?
Friend. I'm the friend. I'm not the CEO. I'm the genuine friend. I mean, yes, you'll have some characteristics where you say, hello, man, wake up. Like, I mean, I remember this friend of mine said she was studying and nothing not coming. And I said, she's doing all the exam papers and it's not coming. It's a professional exam that she needs to pass. I said to her, like, I'd say, maybe you just need to sleep. Forget about books for a day and go and sleep and see how you feel the next day. So I'm more like that, practical.
Yeah,
practical.
I guess I like to dance and my husband says I'm not funny, but I try to be funny.
Oh, I think you're so funny.
You're hilarious.
He would just look at me sometimes and say, nope. But I'm just the Chorvelle.
Yeah.
As you see me, that is what you'll get.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And it would be like just like anybody else. Like my sister and I will go walking, and you see people walking, and you're listening to the breeze, or you hear the cyclists passing, and we're talking about how relaxing it is. So it's just things like that are things that matter. And I really try that. It's not every day you're talking about just work, but you have other things that are important. You know, it's not all the time you have to be filling the brain with all the education. There are smaller things that are just as important, just like mindfulness, you know, just walking and actually seeing the color of somebody's clothes on the road that you pass. Because half of the time we're just so busy and we don't even see anything. I remember since I've been at Sagicor Bank, I ran this exercise with my leadership team. One morning I said to them, tell me what you saw on the way to work. Most people drew a blank. Or I'll go further and say, tell me the color of the dress or the umbrella that the person was carrying on the way to work. You draw a blank. And you know what that means? That we're not stopping enough to smell the roses.
No.
We're not seeing the things that matter. For me, it's not about going to the hype club and all of that. It's about maybe walking on the Negro Strip. It may be one year, my husband carried me on a drive from Papine all the way up to Newcastle. We stop and look at every river, come all the way back round. And it was my birthday. It was just fun.
Yeah.
We just enjoy those things, the atmosphere, all of that. Plus, I'm a country girl, so it really felt like my face was breathing again. And you saw the inhale and the exhale. You understand? And yoga, I mean, for me, yoga is important. And I'm saying that to reinforce it to me because I'm not doing enough of that. But that deep breathing is very important and taking care of ourselves. So in my circle, you'll be hearing Chorvelle exercising. You know, we're holding each other accountable. What we're eating. Yes, I'm vegan. I'm not eating any pork nor any cheese. I don't miss meat, but I miss cheese. And I still cook at home and I love to cook. Or you'll hear, you know, somebody will smell and say, Chorvelle, when is the next book? But I've just been so busy. I have the recipes, but I just don't have the book. You know, and that's a long time ago. So when you're in those circles, it's about movies and fun and all of those things. It should not be a hard sell. That's a part of your balance as well, you know. Unless somebody's really going through a moment where you have to pull them up and have those deep conversations. But otherwise, it can be about the movie, that the Tom and Jerry that I carried my daughter to see because I wanted to see it.
Yeah.
Because it's more when you want to see the movie.
Was it good?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't think she saw anything, but I enjoyed it.
Of course
she
not.
only saw the popcorn. So most of my niece and nephews know that the thing for Auntie Chorvelle, she carried them go to the movies, but they don't know. I'm killing two birds with one stone. I want to see the movies myself.
Yeah.
Those are relaxing.
That auntie.
But you know, Chorvelle, thank you for framing it that way, because I think sometimes as we are moving and progressing, even in those relationships and in our circles, we think we have to be a different person. Like we have a show now, so we are CEO. So the conversation is different. We're not fun again. We can't enjoy the little things. But we can we just need to be. Just be.
Yeah.
My friends will shoot that down.
Yes.
They shoot that down and tell you, say, hello, this is not the CEO. You're not Sagicor Bank round about now. So just take off that one. Just move with that. So, you know, you just have to straighten up yourself and whimper in a car.
Now, before your internet go again, let me hand over to you.
Guys, you know what's funny is that I'm seeing everybody super clear, and then sometimes you guys freeze. So I'm thinking you guys all have a problem, not realizing that maybe I'm the one with the problem. But no problem. So Chorvelle, I'm glad you touched on the vegan lifestyle, because that's something that I wanted to ask about. And my first question really is everybody in your household a vegan?
That's a joke. My husband eats pork.
Wow.
I'm the only vegan in the house. I'm the only vegan in the house. I'm the only vegan in my whole family.
Wow.
So, then you have to backtrack a little bit then and just explain how that even came about.
Oh boy. So some years ago, when I was at DBNG, I got sick. I was told that I had a very high prolactin. And because you have a high prolactin, they check if you have a pituitary adenoma. So they found out that I had a pituitary microadenoma, which is a small tumor of the pituitary glands. And we women know what pituitary glands do. That has to do with your hormones, your reproductive cycle, all of those little things. Anyway, so my big sister tricked me when I was overseas once to go see her cousin-in-law, who was a neurosurgeon, who checked me up, and they were monitoring it for years. But one year when I went back, he said it had grown, so we needed to get rid of it. Now the fact is that anybody who has a high prolactin know that you have a date with this thing called bromocriptine that makes you sick. You end up starting with half a tablet, and then you end up taking out like 12. But you feel so sick, you're not yourself, right? And I remember going into office one day, and I'm just dragging myself in. I'm barely saying morning, and I did it maybe 2 times or 3. And my staff came to me and said, Miss J, when you come in like that, you spoil our day. So that is another thing. You have to be, you have to know how you're impacting on others.
Yes.
So I had to really try and pull myself up. But the long and short of it was that I was told I had to do surgery. Did the surgery. I remember at the time too, I never have 1 red cent to do no surgery. But I was a hard worker. And when I told my boss I had to do surgery, he said, just tell your sister to come and see me, and we'll wire off the funds. We can work out how you pay that back after health insurance after that. That's why I work hard.
Wow.
So that's what happened, and that was a miracle within itself. So did the surgery, and then it was a laser, what they call an X-knife surgery. Most people would hear about gamma ray, but this one was X-knife. And after they did the surgery, they said they didn't get everything. So I had to stay on the meds. So I decided I'm not staying on any meds. And let me just put up the disclaimer right away. What I do is for Chorvelle, not for anybody else. And I have a doctor who tell you that I am silly and I'm not to do stuff and I should not be vegan and all of that, but it's what works for me. So I went to this doctor out here, and I decided to take up the vegan lifestyle. By the time I went to the doctor, I threw out the tablets. And I decided I was taking up the vegan lifestyle. The only thing I miss is cheese. And I cook every Sunday. Not every Sunday, because husband cooks sometimes, or bonus daughter cooks sometimes. But, I cook. I just don't taste it, and I don't miss it. And then one is ensuring that I'm not growing Carol vegan either. So she has to have pork, fish, everything. Okay, so, it just means, though, that I will ensure that now and then in the house, green juice is there and everybody has to drink it. That when I'm doing my aloe and orange thing for the week, everybody's having aloe and orange. It's not me alone. Maybe
what is that? What's the aloe and orange?
It's a flush. So you drink it. You blend up the aloe and just drink it for the week. Yes, exactly, Kathy. It's just like that. Okay. So you drink 2 inches of aloe and orange with all the pulp and everything in there, skin and all for the aloe, so it's really bitter. So the whole house will follow that. So the fact is, they'll have it. They'll have my beans, and I don't do tofu because it's not natural enough. But they'll have all of those food and stuff with me most of the times. But I just feel like I'm not going back to meat at all. Unless, I promised my dad that if something happens and they say I have to go back and eat meat, I'll eat meat.
Yes.
Right. So that is a promise that I'll fulfill. But the only thing I miss is cheese.
And what I would ask, Chorvelle, is what has the difference been for you health-wise?
Well, I feel lighter. I can't drink because I don't have anywhere to stop the liquor. So if I drink, I'm going to be drunk. So I try not to drink. But it's a work in progress. It's always work in progress. And, I just continue to pray about all of that and hope that the journey I am on is the one that God wants me to be on, because I'm stubborn that way. but I feel much better than having to live on those tablets that were making me feel
Yes.
sick. Like I was, and you know, when you look on stuff, if you look on side effects from some of these things, they're real.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
They're real.
Yes.
So the whole nauseousness and all of those things, I
Yes.
just couldn't manage that. So
Yeah.
So many of you may not have known that Chorvelle actually published a book in 2012, Simply Vegan, The Jamaican Way. Tell us about that experience, and is the book still available for purchase?
I'm embarrassed. The book is available on Kindle. I have
Okay.
no copies anywhere in Jamaica, but it is on Kindle. Um, the second and third edition are somewhere in my study to be published. So that's why I'm thoroughly embarrassed. I tried to get calls from Jamaica Business Development, JBDC, saying, Chorvelle, where's the book? Oh, I'll do it for Christmas. I'll do it for Easter. See, we're here again. So that book came about when I just transitioned to becoming vegan. My
Yes.
husband and his brethren, they used to work out at the house at the time. And I would be just cooking up different dips and all of that. And, you know, they'll taste. This one tastes good. Lord, man, that one I don't taste good at all. So there would be taste testers. So they would smell and come and taste. And then it so happened that I had my cousin and his wife staying with me for a while from Atlanta. And I said, Shara, why don't you write a book? I'm like, what? They say, you're always experimenting and doing all of these things. Why don't you write a book? So I wrote the book. I had the time and I wrote the book.
Oh,
So that's how that came about. But, you know, everybody was a guinea pig for those recipes.
yeah.
Right. And, you know, it's even nicer now because I do things different. It's not the same. That was the Prento Chorvelle at the time. You know, I'm the expert. I'm not the chef yet. And in my next life, I will be Chef Chorvelle Johnson Cunningham. You know, so, you know, at some point in time, I will do the other two books.
Wow. I see Janice, Alan, Janice is from Mobile. So when you were down in Montego Bay, Janice, you did that Mobile that time? And she said this is a really wonderful discussion. I mean, the comments have just been amazing. Before we go on, guys, I need to ask Charbel this question. Charbel, because we kind of share a similar little journey with the little Pitney them at this stage in our lives. You did go a little ahead of me. Um, a decision to have a child, a young child now, how has that changed your life?
Oh, this was the expression. And then after you do all of that, you just start going on a shopping spree. I have to get this, I have to get that, I have to get all those things. But Cairo has, she have my heart. She have she have my everything. I can't talk about her without welling up. You know, when she look on me and says, Mommy, you're my best friend. Or Mommy, I just love you, Mommy. You're the best. You're the best, Mommy. And she come and she rub my nose
Oh
and
my,
all of that. I would give that up for the world. I want to give it up for the world. I love her to pieces. And yes, I have two bonus kids with Vaughn, Abby, and Malik, and I love them to pieces as well. And I have some other bonus kids, you know, from a prior relationship. But it was hard when Kyra came along, being the CEO of a bank, and have to learn how to deal with her from scratch. I remember one night the child wouldn't stop bawling. And I look on her and I'm like ready to tear up my locks out my hair. And I'm like, why she won't stop crying? And I looked on her. She wasn't two yet. And I said to her, Carol, Mommy does not speak crying. Mommy speaks action, right? So you have to find a way to communicate with Mommy and tell her what you want and stop crying, because I don't know what that means. But in my head, I was saying, because you're driving me crazy. I don't know what that means, right? And it's a real thing. It's a real thing for moms, right?
Yes.
And the next morning she woke up and she was bawling, and I look on her and she did like this with her hand. She put out her hand like this, and I held her hand, and she carried me in the kitchen and stood in front of her milk. From that day to now, Kyra tells me everything, everything. No matter where she go, what she do, she find a way to tell me. I remember one day picking her up from the nursery, and she was at the grill standing, and she saw when I came. And she wasn't crying when I drove up. But as I reached the grill, she started to bawl. I said, Kyra, what is wrong? And she took her hand and put towards her bottom. So I said to the nanny, to the nurse at the nursery, I said, did Kyra chafe? No, mommy. I said, can you check for me, please? Yes, she did. The child waited until I came and she communicated. So I don't know how I do that. I don't know how it happened. I know how. The man up above.
That's right.
He found a way to help her to communicate with me. Now that she can chat and won't stop talking, she just waits. When you least expect it, she just sit there and say, Mommy, so and so and so and so. And you just literally have a whiplash. Did she say that? Where did she get that from? And she having or she'll come and she sits in front of you. Mommy, let's have a conversation. I'm like, she's not a conversation. She's just 3. She was 3 last month, right? But every day I give God thanks for her. I don't know if it is that she has slowed me down or pushed me harder, but I think it's all of the above. And my prayer every day is that God will allow me to see her to a point where she'll be fine. That's my prayer, because I love her to pieces, and I'm like, I'm sure everybody's sitting there like, what is Chorvelle talking about? We all been there, done that. Yep. But I love her to pieces. Love her to pieces. But, sometimes, and I did have this conversation with God, and I said, your sense of humor sucks. Because everything for God is in his own time. Right? Yes. And it's the second time. Not second, but there have been so many incidents in my life where God has shown me the way, or he has just given a directive. And you sit down and you're like, here you go again, laughing after me after you put this in the way. Right? But we know that he's not going to give us more than we can handle. Exactly. Right? So that's the solace. And for everything he has done is for a reason. So I will latch on to that. But may I tell you, at the time, I'm like, what the hell? What am I going to do? How am I going to manage? And that is where, again, your circle is very important. Yeah. Right? I have a little sister who, if Carol knows hurting her or whatever, I can call her, Carol so-and-so, did you check this? Did you check that? You must have one of those friends who have a list, they have the book, they have everything. So big up Charmaine. Charmaine is just like that, and is it, what should I give her? The histatosin or the DPA? No, give her that. And so you just have to have those people. And I was saying to one of my staff today, I think it's Jody I was talking to, and I say, even when I got sick, I choose my doctors, I don't want doctors who, when you pick up the phone and call, they don't call you back. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So we must interview for our doctors. Yes. And that's the same way I feel about my child and children's doctors. If they can't answer me when I call, you can't be my doctor. Yep. You can't. And it's the same way, I guess people say it's the same thing about the bankers. So we all as persons have to step up, because the service industry is crying out for more from everybody. But Cairo is Cairo. I see her dancing and say, she's singing what? She puts in her right foot in and then she's doing the pokey and turn herself on like. But you'll be at work and you remember that, and what? You have to post up it. Yeah. Yes. It makes your whole day better. So Russia, I totally understand. I think COVID worked. Oh, yeah. COVID worked. Yep.
Well, yes, I can't complain.
Right.
Time.
Yes.
So, Chorvelle, we have a segment on the show called Best Advice. And it really
Okay.
is the best advice that you've either received or the best advice that you'd like to give about different topics. So, the
Okay.
first one is best advice about love.
Yeah. Best advice I've received about love. I think it was from my dad. I think it was from my dad and my mom because don't feel like say your mother don't tell your father everything and your father don't tell your
Right.
mother. Right. And it's about simple things, Sometimes the simple things that can cause an argument are not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if those come in the way, just move them out of the way because
Yeah.
it's not worth it in the long run. When you look on what the big picture is, move
Yes.
them out there. It's not worth that type of barrier to have that sort of headache over. So, in other words, we have to sometimes learn to step back and forgive for the
Mm.
Yes.
simple things, right? Because you're in it for the long haul anyway.
Yes.
And my parents have been married for 50 something years. So,
It's a blessing.
yeah. So I listened to that one, and you've seen how they operate. So, not saying that everything going to be perfect or you're going to agree with everything that your partner will say, but sometimes it's good, to step back because there's a time and place for everything. Just
Mm-hmm.
step back and not do anything. So it's not worth it, the little things.
Best advice about money.
I remember growing up and I said, money is the root of all evil, is it? Is it really? But money, in terms of money, because I used to be on the investment side of the business and on the commercial bank, you must always have your emergency funds in place. I think that is the best advice I've had. And your emergency funds, as hard as it is up to anywhere between, and I'm putting a range on it because it's not easy for somebody to just get up and do 6 months. So I said
Right.
anywhere between 1 month to 6 months. And it means that during that period, you must be saving towards at least 6 months. And once you reach your 6 months, just continue saving and
Yeah.
maybe go on for a year. So for me, for money, you must always ensure that you have your emergency money in place because you can never tell what might happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Best advice about life.
Live it and enjoy it. You
Man.
know the song, You Have One Life to Live, so live it in peace, live it in hope, live
Yeah.
it in love, live it in love, live it in love. Yeah. Yep. Enjoy life. I think half of the times we don't stop and smell the roses. I remember dropping Carol home one evening and she said, Mommy, Auntie says I must look at all the flowers, the colorful flowers that I've seen. So she'll say, Did you see that red one? Did you see that yellow one? How many times we pass these things and we don't see it?
And with those.
Mindfulness again. So we just need to enjoy life. Most of the times we're working and we're not enjoying life. Take a step back. Enjoy
Yes.
life.
Yeah.
Jamaica is a beautiful country. Some people just found
Oh,
out about
yes.
COVID,
Yeah.
but it's beautiful. So
Yeah.
enjoy life.
So we can add singer to Chorvelle's bio now.
Right? Like I say, wait, you can sing.
Hi, Brandon.
Okay. Best advice about relationships.
Boy, it's a two-way street, and keep your friends out of it.
Oh, that is a whole word.
That's a whole sermon. Absolutely.
Whoa.
I remember some years ago.
Oh my God.
Oh boy, that came too quick, right? So
No, I
I've
mean,
always said to my friends, right? And your friends mean you well.
Yeah.
I said to them, if it is I'm dating a guy and you go out there and you see him with somebody, don't come and tell me. Go up to him and say, Hi, how you doing? How is Chorvelle? So he has to come home and tell me that he saw Rochelle. And it done this so.
Right.
But then be a confident woman anyway in what you're doing. So it's
Word.
not worth it. Yeah. But your relationship is between two people.
Mhm.
And half of the times, and this is the thing, you might have a fuss with your husband or your partner, and you run and you tell your parents and you tell your best friends and whatever. And then when you want to forgive him, what are you going to tell them?
That's right.
What you
Them
going to tell
carry the
them?
belly for you.
Right? Because then they're going to say, no,
Yes.
can't do that. Right? And I'm not saying you can't take advice from friends, but sometimes
You have to know.
sometimes people overstep into personal relationship. Don't come ask me anything about my husband and what we discuss in here. I can't discuss that with you. Not in that, not like that. And yeah, you're my bestie and everything, but
Not for you.
that's just how I do my relationship thing. And I might be successful and I might fail, and it is fine. It is fine, right? So you have to, let me put a thing at the end of it, caveat, and say, once you are comfortable in doing that, that works for me. And for every advice or anything I said today, it's not one size fits all.
Yes.
We all have to find what works for us.
Exactly.
And it doesn't mean that you can't have a sister or a brethren who you can run something by. Yes, you can. But that sister or brethren don't have no right to come to my husband or my other partner or whoever it is that I'm dating at the time and have that conversation.
Yeah. As Brandon said, mind your business.
Mind your business.
All right. What advice would you give to your 20-year-old self?
Oh Lord, dance some more. Just go to dance and have more fun. Because by the time you reach, well, I'm not 20 yet, remember I was 18.
Right, correct. You're not there yet.
From what you hear your big friend them say.
So I just want to continue enjoying life as it is, because I feel that by the time you reach 50, 55, 45, you're going to have so much more responsibility and all of those things. So sometimes it's good when you have the memories that you can hold on to until you can make the new memories, right? So just continue to enjoy life, but don't forget to take care of you first.
Yes.
Always taking care of you first.
Brandon wants to know what kind of dance you're going to dance.
That's
a secret, Brandon. I can't tell you.
Johnny says, I like.
He's gonna scandal me.
Car. When I hear that, Chorvelle, Johnny said, my spirit car.
Thanks, Janice.
Love it.
Oh boy. The thing is, whether you can dance or not, everybody, we're all Jamaicans, We must can rock.
I can go something.
Listen, I don't aim at this stage of my life to know everyone a ding dong. To the left, to the right, just know how to move. And you're good. You just go on and you move, and you'll be surprised the younger people following you instead.
Be confident in the movements.
Be confident.
Like you know what you're doing.
My husband Vaughn have this one about how him going to a nightclub some year. I don't remember if it was in Jamaica or in New York, and bossa dance, and the whole club start following him, so him have a Vaughn dance. I'm like, right. And he's living on that all his life, so all of his friends and everybody know him one dance. So I'm like, okay. So that's bossa dance. It might be the Vaughn dance.
It just might be.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, Chorvelle, I'm here just looking at the comments. The nuggets that you dropped on me tonight. And in your Chorvelle way, nothing ever shoved down anybody's throat, always teaching, advising, giving your perspective, just based on your experience. And, it was so important for our emergers to see how you're real. Because that's all, you just think Chorvelle just real.
And all the time. All the time.
Watch Seriously? No comment.
So I see the emergers. Thank you for that, Dermot. Have been dropping a lot of comments. If you have any questions, I would have dropped it in the comment them fast before we lose Chorvelle.
Listen.
The unfortunate thing, Chorvelle, you can't see all of the comments that are going. And you see what Brandon just said, real like cotton.
Yeah.
But I think we have such an amazing opportunity as Jamaicans to see our own grow and thrive, to see ourselves in you, so we know that it is possible.
Yes.
That we can see it in the supermarket and real. So sometimes we take it for granted. What an amazing experience it is to have these leaders of industry who are real and normal people who can show us that it can be done. You can have the family, you can have the job. You don't have to think, say, you have to balance every single thing day in, day out. You can be the one vegan in your yard. But Chorvelle, I think too, even as you spoke about your work ethic, that everywhere you go, you learn everything. And the thing that I will not forget about tonight is how you can mention, the lady that make the tea, the security guard down the stairs. You can big them up. And I think you have changed people's lives today.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I think, Rush, one of the things as well, a recurring theme throughout everything Chorvelle said was support.
Yes.
Importance of having that support, whether it's your friends, whether it's your spouse, partner, but your team members, but having that support every step of the way is so important to allow you to do what you need to do.
Yes. And that you're open to the feedback and you actually have the support and ask for the support. How important it is to listen. Well, Chorvelle though, say we can't just leave, so you sing to it and so. But as we're wrapping up, what would you leave our emergers with as they go off to them bed tonight and they think, tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and I'm really gonna see the grace of God. I'm gonna manifest something.
Oh boy. So a couple things. I think it's important that we enjoy life.
Yes.
COVID taught us, or showed us, or I should say, God through COVID taught us that we can lock down. There are a lot of persons who didn't survive the lockdown are still not surviving it, right? So we have to give thanks that we did, right? So we have to give thanks for the quality life that we have. And just not compare yourself to others. Just enjoy your life. I remember growing up, my mom said, don't envy people for what them have. You don't know how them get it. Mm-hmm. Right? So when everybody was in Furlushi pants, we never get it till Furlushi was out. Yeah, I see Kathy looking like, what the hell is that?
I don't know what it is either.
What shall help?
But I understand what you're trying to say.
We're too old to know what this line. Only restaurant Chorvelle knows.
Sorry,
I don't forget Jordan said it never mistake.
I forgot I was 18. My apologies. Did that slip in there? The fact is, just enjoy your life. And I can't say this often, and everything I said tonight is reminding me as well. Each time I speak, I'm reminding me about what I need to be doing, right? So when I say positive vibes, positive actions, positive results, that's so important.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we get into the whole of the negative stuff, and we don't even know that we're in there.
Yep.
Right? So you have to be able to recognize that. You have to be able to, one thing I didn't say is that we have to listen to our bodies.
Yes.
Our bodies speak. You see, the same way I said Kyra found a way to talk to me. If we're quiet enough, our bodies speak. And we need to listen. And we need to listen. And sometimes we hear it and we pretend. And the last thing I'll say, as a woman, there's this thing called gut feeling, intuition, whatever you want to call it. It is real. It is very, 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 very real. If you go against it, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
If you go with it, you might be in trouble, but you can't head it off.
Yeah.
Right? And there's this little thing that happens to me when I work close with people. And I think this is just divine intervention, where, Rochelle, you'll be thinking something and I'll come in front of you and say, Rochelle, why you don't go back to school and do so and so and so and so?
Yes.
And it messes with people's head, because it messes with mine too.
Yes.
It messes with mine. And it used to bother me. No, it don't bother me anymore. I just go through, because there's a higher being. I don't, everybody has a different name for it.
Yeah.
We just have to listen to it and
Yes.
sink in it and keep giving thanks. And more importantly, give back. Pull somebody else up. Find a soft way to say to somebody if they're not performing and help them out versus just tearing them down. If it's one thing, I'll say, stop the tearing down of each other. We need to stop tearing down and backbiting and more help people, right? And I say it all the time. My parents work hard for me. They work hard for me and they pray hard. So, hey, go and tear down and backbite now. Me move so fast, the arrows are dropped behind them.
Oh.
So it is what it is.
Amen.
Keep moving. So my last thing is keep moving. Move so fast that the daggers and the arrows can't touch you, because you move.
And focus.
Wow.
Okay. We told you it was a good sermon.
Wow, Chorvelle.
Tonight has been amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time
Ladies,
to Wednesday with us.
ladies, thanks for having me share. I'll tell you, my stomach was in knots the whole day. I was so nervous.
What?
And yeah, man, we all got through it, You have a little nerves, No matter what, before you go on stage, you're going to have it.
Yeah.
But it's healthy nerves. It's healthy. I said that to people, it's healthy. But half of the time, when it's lights, camera, action, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Yep.
Wow.
And it needs a replay. So she's going to watch it again. We're all going to watch it again.
Well, we can just let you all know, for those that didn't join at exactly 8 o'clock, you can certainly watch this entire episode and so much more after we're done.
Yes.
Thanks for having me, ladies. It was just such a pleasure and a breath of fresh air being here with you guys. I really enjoyed it. Really did.
Thank you so much, Chorvelle. This was worth the wait.
Yes.
And listen, tell your husband that we say you are funny.
You are extremely funny. And now Cairo can stop knocking on the door, because she has, according to her, she says her bedtime is 10, right?
10
so she have a few more minutes.
I'm sure she's somewhere running our father around the house, because that's what partners do, We're here for each other, and
yes,
one hand can't clap. We have to clap together.
I'm gonna rewatch this episode myself.
Yeah, I'm sure I just want to say a big up and a thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Johnson out of Manchester for raising you with a single glass ceiling, for raising you with such humility and go get it.
Yes.
Help you with the maths, because look at you now. We cannot thank you enough for tonight. Thank you so much.
Wait, Chorvelle, so where can our emergers find you?
Oops. So you know that is a tough one. I'm here. I don't even know. You know, that is one question that you ask that I don't have the response to, because it has been a little hard. Everybody wants you to mentor them. Some people I can't mentor. Some people I will try and have a conversation. Some people are persistent and I will have to have the conversation. Some people find people who know me and I have to mentor them. But there are other people. I'm here. I'm at Sagicor Bank. Sorry, helpless plug. Guys, you need to open an account at Sagicor Bank and be a part of the Sagicor group. You can find me there all the time. We're the best. And we're getting better. We're getting better, right? And, you know, with my team and I will be better. Sorry, hopeless plug.
That's right.
But, that's where
all three of us have accounts at Sagicor.
Our first virtual workshop for this year.
Yes, I know that.
So,
yes.
I mean, we are a part of the Sagicor family.
And we all have Sagicor accounts.
Okay, I'm very happy to hear that.
Yes.
Because, you know, I'm at the stage where I said to people, if you want to do stuff with me, make sure you have an account at Sagicor Bank, please.
Yes.
So, you know, one hand can't clap. I need the support. You know, you love what I do and whatever. Support me by being with my bank. Because the fact is, and my group led by Chris Zacher, the fact is, if it is that we're not doing it the way we want to, you have a CEO who you can find and call, and we're going to fix it. Because we're not perfect.
Yeah.
Right? Between myself and my executive team, we'll go and get it fixed. And we just come. Y'all don't see nothing yet, Jamaica. We just come. So watch out for Sagicor Bank and watch out for the group, because we're part of this group and we're march like the Saints go marching in. We're coming. So if you're not on the bandwagon yet, sorry, Naomi, you're asking where to find me, right?
It's fine. It's fine. Sagicor Bank. They know where to find you.
Sagicor Bank.
That's fine.
I mean, I don't know if Jodie's on the call, but may I tell you, say, tough one to get through her, but you don't know. You have to have a good story. You have to have a good story. But if I can help, I'm a part of the Women's Leadership Initiative, and I want to big up the ladies in that initiative because they've been there for me as a huge, huge support. They have helped me through a lot, and we're like sisters there, and we keep supporting each other no matter what is going on in our lives, and we keep supporting Jamaica, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll continue to do that as well. And then there's United Way, which I'm now chair of. You know, I need the support for United Way as well, because there's so much work for so many kids, for so many women, for so many men in Jamaica that need to be done. So if you want to find me, those are the three places. Sagicor Bank, because we're a part of the group. WLI, Women's Leadership Initiative, United Way, that is where we'll be at. Otherwise, Chorvelle Johnson Cunningham is with her husband and kids and with her family, who getting the rejuvenation of energy and being able to bounce back to get the work done.
And dance her way through life.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Oh, thank you, Chorvelle.
Thank you guys so much.
Yes. And pick up Kyra for us.
I will do so. Will do. Thanks for having me.
And we're waiting
Blessings
on 2 and
everybody.
3. We're waiting on 2 and 3 books.
2 and oh, it was 3?
You said book 2 and 3 are in the study.
Oh, yes, those two.
We're waiting.
Okay, noted.
Chorvelle for a moment thought you meant child number 2 and child number 3, and she's like,
what? Right, Rochelle? What?
Baby's in a different form.
Yeah, because those are my babies too.
Yeah.
But that's
said they're ready.
You know what? I didn't mention, but once I always have a retirement plan in place. That is a part of my retirement plan.
Yeah.
That's part of the retirement plan. You asked me about money, but the retirement plan, have your retirement plan
Yeah.
locked.
And that's part of your retirement plan. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful evening. We don't want Kyra to
Thank
come and
you.
beat us up.
Thank you so much, ladies. Bye. Cheers.
Bye.
Wow.
That was amazing.
Yes,
Amazing. My belly full.
very full.
So guys, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Emerge Detour Essentials Live. We are here every Wednesday. Well, we have 2 more Wednesdays left in this season. We're in season 3, so that means you can spend all this time catching up with season 1 and season 2. And of course, catching up with season 3 so that next week you're ready for us. And then we have our grand finale for the end of season 3 the following Wednesday. So thanks for joining us. We're here every Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. on our Facebook channel and YouTube channel. Please subscribe. If you really love this episode, please like it, share it with a friend, tell everyone they need to come and watch. And of course, feel free to rewatch and replay this again. So thank you guys.
One thing that we didn't mention today is that, we have 2 more episodes for this season. But our last episode for this season will actually be our 1-year anniversary for these essentials.
So it's going to be
special.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be extremely special. So bye, everybody. We will see you next week. Have a wonderful rest of your week.